Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game, in our Lite campaign playthrough with the Vanity company. We'll load up our last save where we just recently completed our probably last Halo car, the Zoids Mark III. Unfortunately, after editing that and after seeing comments on that video, that car had a couple of blunders in it. And obviously I need to be a little bit more thorough on my car check through before I go ahead and sign off, because once you sign off, there's no going back. Unfortunately, I didn't have any saves or anything. I think the car will still be a success, but it had a couple little things in it that could have made it even better. So today, we have to build a very similar car, and if you look at the Zoids, and if you look at the era that it's going to be built for, 2009, you'll see that it's flirting with what would be considered to be modern designs of today. What we need to do for our lineup today is replace the Bionic with its new iteration, which is currently our muscle premium car. Now, in that market, there's a couple different areas it sells to. Family Sport Premium, which is odd for a two-seater car, but it is what it is. Fun Premium, Muscle, but then a lot of these other categories like Sport and Sport Budget and Track and all those little whoa, that was a tongue twister. All of those littler categories that it could also be potentially selling to. And it is. You see the sales there. But primarily, it is still a muscle car. And muscle cars do still exist in the 2000s. So, what do? Well, I'm not going to advance time. We could wait until June of 2009 to start designing this car, and then have myself available as an engineer on the engine side of things. But I already have something in my brain for what I want to do today, and it shouldn't be too terribly bad for engine engineering. Overall, the engineering of the car should be pretty basic all the way through. If we look at the economy, we're currently on a nice little boom of luxury stuff, so it would be nice to get this thing, out snappy, get it out as soon as we possibly can. But what that would be is the Bionic Mark II, which is a coupe car of sport variety. That one is a good shape. No, not the Camaro body, for sure. Same one. What are you? Too small. Okay, that's a gorgeous body. I love that Aston Martin shape. But what about this one? Yeah. The same one as this one, but bigger. I think that's going to be the winner. Now, this is the three-door version. There is a coupe also that looks really bad. Let's go for the fastback style. Visually, this is like a kind of a cross between a C6, a C7 Corvette, and a Viper. It's certainly that era of body style. I'd like to make it somewhat Zoids-like. I'd like to kind of make the two seem like they fit cohesively, so body shaping wise, I'm going to see what I can do with that. But obviously this will be a very front engine car, very long hood, that kind of style. I opted for a pretty up front and bull nose to it instead of the sharp nose, and a kind of a slicker back. The back's going to look pretty Corvette no matter what, but we'll see what we can do with the fixtures. But we first need to decide on a chassis. I'm going to go for AHS steel because it has very good stiffness and rigidity, and that is good for us. And overall, it's not terrible as far as engineering and cost goes. It definitely needs to be front longitudinal, which leaves us double wishbone. And I think we'll do double wishbone front and rear. And because, yeah, the multi-link and the push rod, extremely high engineering time. I'm really surprised that multi-link is extremely high, but maybe that'll be balanced in the future. So that's good. The partial aluminum gives us a little bit of a prestige bump and will reduce weight. Not nearly as much as carbon fiber, but that makes it just so long to engineer and so expensive to produce. It's not worth it to me. The limited production of aluminum kind of puts me off there, so we'll go for partial. Okay, so style-wise, I'm thinking, now the Zoids was pretty reserved, but rather, well, sleek and aggressive looking, so somewhere in the middle there. That's looking a little too Ferrari for my liking at the moment. I do like these as an option. I'm not sure they fit perfectly, though. I feel like we need something with a bit of curve in it. I love the ominous look of these, but from the side, they look a little too big. So we'd have to shrink them down this way, which kind of hurts the overall look of them. Trying not to cross that hood line, but we might have to. See, I like that. I like the ominous way those look, but the proportions seem a little off, maybe. Let me look at some grills, and maybe that'll fix this. Okay, well this certainly has the ominous look. Ooh, I like that one with the black trim. That's matching the style I was looking for. Maybe a little bit less. We're headed in a good direction. I might need to flatten the nose out a bit more. There we go, that's getting better. I overall like it, it's just very simple. It's very plain, I believe. Could use a little something. That might be too much something. It's something, and it does liven up the nose, but I think it hurts its overall look. Ooh, now we're talking. If I can make these like extensions of the headlights, maybe? Yeah, that's the little bit of detail in the nose that it needed. It makes it look a little bit more complicated. Well, there's a detail I've never tried before. Mirror blinkers. Unfortunately, it does weird things. Maybe a different blinker will work better. Well, I kind of made the mirror blinkers work. A little bit. Alright, now to the back side. What are we going to do with this huge canvas we have in the rear? Alright, well, yeah, I really did struggle with the back end of this car. I'm still not very happy with the taillights, but I'm just out of options with taillights. I don't know what else I could possibly use. There's a ton of varieties of these, and I don't like any of them, although I've never really looked at this one. Well, let's try it. Hope they'll go up there. The shape isn't right as of now, but what if we squish him down a little and maybe angle a bit? That's actually kind of a neat effect. Ooh, that's good. Alright, never mind. I'm very happy with the back end now. That works much better. It looks much more aggressive. Maybe a little bit further in. A little bit further. Oh, yeah. It's unique, for sure. Still a little plain in the back. I think this car is going to look a lot better once we get out of this obnoxious red. Blue? Dark blue? Yeah, it's a pretty good dark blue car. Probably the pretty good green car, too. Yep, I think that's the color that suits it best. So we'll go for that. And hopefully it really comes together once we see it with some wheels on it. Now I'm kind of debating if I should put a vent right here. Because this is supposed to be kind of like a Viper or a Z06, you know, that kind of level of car. So it really should have a lot of trick stuff on it. Okay, subtle little change there, but we're going to make this thing longitudinal rear-wheel drive. No, longitudinal front-wheel drive. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. It would be terrible. So, this very long-nosed car, it could take just about every engine. Actually, it probably could take every engine available to us. One thing our company has never done and needs to do before we hit the end of this Lite campaign is make a V12. So yes, the Bionic Mark II will be V12 powered. Please fit, please fit, please fit. Oh yeah. Even the base 6-liter fits. How much displacement could we give this thing? A bunch. Now, the size is going to be an issue for reliability of parts. I still want this to be a mass-produced vehicle. So imagine Corvette-style production, but with a V12. That sounds exciting. So we'll do 4 valves per cylinder, dual overhead cam. We're going to do the aluminum silicone or silicon mixed metal for the block and the head. Definitely want that VVL on there. We might need a forged steel crank. Actually, we probably will. And we're going to need forge works anyway, so might as well use them. RPM high, we'll need that. Lightweight forged would be good. Regular forged is probably good enough. We'll see. Here's our quality. We'll say 11:1 compression. Probably go higher than that. We'll start with a base 50 and a VVL maxed. VVT would be good. Might as well use it. Naturally aspirated injection. The direct injection, it's still extremely high on the engineering time. That's never going to change. We don't have enough time left to do that, I believe. So we're going to go for multi-point EFI. But maybe we go for throttle per cylinder. Something, you know, really crazy in the EFI category. Running on super. And pretty rich. Give it a little timing. I hear this timing is getting changed in the Unreal version soon. The way that it works. Actually, I think the way that I heard is that ignition timing will be kind of obsolete by the time EFI comes into effect, which makes sense. Will it sing to 8500? Let's hope so. We'll do long tubular headers. 700 horsepower? That sounds like a good number. High flow, straight through, no secondary. Oh, 777 out of the gate. A little bit of reliability issues. We'll probably have to look at the bore and stroke of this engine. That makes a noise. That makes a very good noise. Alright, well, we do need to work on this engine. It's not perfect. The bottom end certainly having some issues. If we were to de-stroke it a bit, I think it would reduce the pressure on the pistons and a little bit on the crank as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Even if it's a little bit smaller of an engine, I think we'll still be able to get more power out of it. For sure. So we look at the bottom end stuff. Forged is fine. I-beam steel. It's really not a huge gain there. Reliability actually doesn't come up at all, so we'll stay there. Cam profile wise, it almost seems like we need a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more on that initial cam. Compression can go way up. Okay, we're back up to 767 horsepower. That's a very high number. We could technically throw more fuel links at it, but at 0.747 economy, it's already pretty bad. We might not want to do that. Ooh, exhaust restriction was there, so 787 horsepower at 8100 RPM. However, from 2000 RPM on, we also have 400 foot-pounds of torque. So this is not your Ferrari V12. This is not your Lamborghini V12. This is an American V12. This thing makes tons of torque. It's kind of somewhere like in the range of the Viper engine, except that it has overhead cams and belongs in the 20th century. Oh, sorry, 21st century. I don't know. It just seems like the right engine for this car. We'll see if it can pull off a whole car, though. Like, this might be a very difficult engine to make work in a real-world car. I have no idea. 50 reliability is good enough. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? Let's look through our qualities. Used. Used. None there. Used. And none there. Okay, so everything's used up. I don't really see any other opportunities for it. I like the little bit of overrun. And it's plenty reliable. I could reduce the RPM limit by 1 and not hurt it. And that gains us a little reliability, so let's do it. Do we want to hear it some more? I think we want to hear it some more. That is funny. The engine torques over so much that it actually gives it a height violation when it torques over. From idle. Oh man, it revs up so quick. It's an interesting mix. Large displacement, variable valve timing, big V12. It's an interesting mix of sounds for sure. Okay, enough of that. We got a car to build. Alright, we're almost to the big moment. We'll see if this V12 monster is possibly sellable. Let's go for adaptive dampers for the sportiness and comfort, which is going to be important for those premium categories. And we'll do semi-active sway bars. Ooh, good scores, good scores. 151 muscle, 137 sport. Wait, what? Sport budget? What budget are you on? Okay. Alright, well, it still has a lot of tuning left to be done, but these are promising results. Let's see, handling-wise, it's pretty much on point. Obviously, we need a little bit more front damper for that very hefty engine, just for the sportiness and comfort of it. And then probably more front camber to help that big front engine car turn. Oh, snaps to oversteer. Okay, well, right there is where we get 0.98 and 0.92. Those are good numbers. Gearing-wise, I went for a manual transmission because I'm stubborn. I bet you we could probably score better with sequential, but I'm stubborn. So a 6-speed manual. Looks like we could use a bit more top speed just to get a little bit of overdrive. Get up to 11 miles per gallon. Amazing. Gearing-wise, we're probably fighting tire spin more than anything. So whatever we can do to make the tire spin better is probably better for the car. Alright, at that point we have it down to 38 and we maintain our 4.20 to 60 time, which is good. It's not the sub 4 crazy times like we're seeing on a lot of the modern cars, but it's pretty good. I bet you semi-slick tires would probably get it down to, yeah, right at 4. But I don't know that the semi-slicks are sellable to main audiences. 154, 153, yeah, it's not as good of an option. Brakes, wow, pretty good actually. That doesn't need much of anything in the way of adjustment, I don't think. A little bit of brake fade, so we could go for a bigger rear rotor to help that out. And in the front, what's causing it in the front, you think? It can't be the size. Seems like it was all in the rear, actually, so I was able to get rid of it. I could balance these brakes by making the pad type a little softer in the back. I really think this thing almost needs 4 pistons in the front. But the 4 pistons, I mean, it does score a little bit better, but a very little bit better. Nope, I'm going to stick with the 3 pistons because it is overall cheaper and scores basically the same. Alright, cooling-wise, I think we have enough. We might have too much. Where's reliability? 65.1. 60. Oh, I had it spot on, maybe? Yep, I sure did. Starting to get good at that. Alright. Fully clad, no downforce. I do have the rear wing, or the rear spoiler, doing some work as of right now. Do I need to? Not necessarily. But it doesn't hurt it, and it actually does kind of like that little bit of a reassurance of at least getting rid of the lift in the back, I think. There's some options in here, making sure I've used all my quality. Luxury sat nav. You see, they really like things like that. These buyers do. But I don't really like things like that. This thing's already a 3,900-pound car. It's not light by any means. Traction control, they do like, as they should. Stability control as well. Safety-wise, it scores better, but not enough better to make me want to do it to hurt the car's performance. And suspension-wise, I mean, we're at 0.98 and 0.92 now. I cannot complain with those scores. I think that's pretty much its maximum. I'm actually a little concerned, maybe, that this is actually faster than our hypercar, which would be strange, but it's a very different car as well. Certainly in shape and driving style and sound. This is somewhat more practical. Well, I guess there's only one thing we can do, and that's put it on the test track and find out. And I want to hear this thing, but let's see. 214 miles per hour top speed, 11.7 quarter mile. That's insanity. 1.16 and 1.13 in the corners. It could be very close. Wheel spin right out of the gate. Still wheel spin. Alright, and the time is a 1:17.21. I'll have to go back and see what the Zoids did, but I have a feeling it's pretty competitive. Pretty competitive. What I haven't looked at all is the markets. Okay, so no markup. Very, very amazing scores. But what does it do with like a 30% markup? Because that's like bare minimum. Muscle Premium, outstanding scores. Muscle, very good scores. And Family Sport Premium, for whatever reason, very small family, I suppose, also very amazing scores. Really across the board, very good. At this point, I want to go through the engine one more time. Let's see. Alright, we're not knocking, anything like that. Used all our quality points. We'll go to the chassis. Good there. Good here. Yep, just making sure the brake fluid was in there. We're good on reliability. That all looks good. Yeah, I think we're ready to move to the factory section of this and see how long this thing's going to take to make. Money-wise, we're doing fine, so if it costs a lot of money, that's not a problem to me. See, 4 years on the chassis, 4 years on the engine. Well, I'm willing to throw all of my money at this to make that happen faster. So 3 years, 9 months, 3 years, 10 months. So we can just throw a little bit of extra, not that much. A little bit of extra reliability onto the chassis. So 3 years, 10 months, the cheapest we could do that. That's going to cost us $1.7 billion just to do that part of it. So we're really banking on this thing making a profit, for sure. It's going to be using the old Bionics factory. So we'll assign that. And let's see, we will need Forge Works, and it does put that in there. 80 engines per day. Oh, wow, we need a bigger engine factory. 106, well, we'll see if that's enough. Engine factory cannot meet demand. Interesting. Well, we can up the automation probably to get it there. Even at 2 shifts, it's really struggling. Interesting. I did choose the right factories, right? I guess we'll never know. Yeah, the Bionic is missing, so yeah. Well, of course we could just make less cars, but I'd rather not have a restriction in that engine factory. And it's just money, right? Sure. Sure. We're still only able to go up to 2. Like 1.9, actually? So it'd have to be a really, really high markup. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, we'll be restricted on how many cars we can make due to the engines. This must be sales? Let's look at competitiveness. So yeah, even 30, we're still doing okay, and you can see just how many categories this thing would potentially sell to. It is a many of them. But that's at $25,000. I highly doubt it'll be that cheap. Oh yeah, demand, because of our limited shifts on this thing, demand would be really high. Really high. Like 100% markup high. Maybe even higher. That'll probably come down over time, though. Okay. Oh, 29 months. That's not bad. Considering the massive buy-in, 2.7 billion, I can kind of deal with the 29-month break-even. It would come online in 2011. Break-even not until 2014. Let me do a little bit more finagling and see if we can get that down. So just to update, with the huge markup this would have, $42,000 MSRP, there's the actual sales of it, selling mostly to Muscle Premium, some into Muscle, and then mostly the higher categories of Premium and Luxury and things like that. Somehow still Utility, Sport, Luxury, we'll let that slide. Alright, with some finagling, I went back and actually went to a medium 1 factory for the car and turned off galvanization because that wasn't needed. And for the engine, a medium 3 with some pretty good automation on that thing. That let us do a more balanced production. And with our base markup being extremely high, if it would stay at that level, which I kind of doubt it would, and selling 4,840 cars per month, 23 months on the break even. That's a little bit more feasible, and I think will set us up for pretty good shape to close out our campaign here for this particular model. There's still other cars we have to build, but I think this will probably be our last muscle / sports / GT car. I don't know what exactly category this car falls into now. What does a Viper fall into anymore? It's not really a muscle car. Who knows? But I am going to sign off on that. Double checked and triple checked things. I think we're good to go. Alright. Bionic Mark II in the works. Let's go ahead and cancel production. Actually, that's still selling well enough that I'm not going to. Not until it's ready. So, let's just do some work and go through some time here. So I would just like to point out that at the moment, we are currently not able to produce enough of any of our vehicles. Selling 646,000 per year, we made almost 2 billion, despite the huge expenses we had this year. Overall, pretty good. I have a feeling the economy is still, it's still doing okay. It's not this. I'm still waiting for this to happen again, but it's okay. Hopefully it'll bump back up before the Zoids and the Bionic hit production, which will be starting next year, starting in 6 months actually. Looking through the other cars, yeah, everything's just absolutely producing the most it can. Let me look at the magnet, because I think I can make more of those. Perhaps. Nope. just mark them up a little bit. So good news, the Zoids Mark III has gone into production, and it too is selling all of its available units. But let's pause here. Something strange happened right at the end of 2009, where the Magnet Mark III dive bombed in sales. It went from, just absolutely killing it to losing 152 million. So something must have happened. Something else must have come on the market and destroyed it, or the economy has fallen away in the economy or in the budget stuff, which it has not. It has not indeed done that. The overall economy is kind of still on the fritz, but it must be the case that something came online that destroyed the magnet. So probably what we need to do... Oh yeah, demand is just gone for this thing. How strange. How very, very strange. Okay. Well, we'll reduce the markup, but nobody wants it. Nobody wants it at all, so something must have really, really destroyed this poor car. I wonder what it could be. Well, we'll see if we can at least save some sales. Oh. Wait. It's no longer sellable in Gesmea and Fruinia? And only Arcana? But why? I must have done something with its design that makes it not sellable past 2010. So this is now an Arcana only vehicle. Well, this is going to be a unique situation for sure. Despite its minor flaws, the Zoid Mark III doing very fine though. I'm pleased with its sales at the moment. Actually, I'm not going to mark it up anymore because it's still new. It's still in its initial rush, so we'll see if that stays. I'm going to work through 2010. That would put us starting in 2011 for next episode. And there's at least one more vehicle I really want to make and get into production before the end of this. So yeah, let's go through 2010, and that will probably be it for today. Okay, so 2010 was a weird year, a very weird year. That's a very low amount of cars sold, 464,000. We went ahead and canceled the Bionic Mark I because it had stopped selling, and then all of a sudden it sold through all of its remaining units. It was very strange sequence of events. Of course, the weirdness with the magnet is what kind of threw our sales down the tube. What's the economy doing? Flat, maybe? No, it's starting to come back in the luxury stuff. Well, that's good for the future Bionic, the Bionic Mark II, which will still be another year before it's in production. Zoids Mark III doing well. Obviously, the magnet issues. Sharky Mark II still hanging in there. It's never been a total runaway. Jaws Mark II, the family car, is our best producing vehicle right now, making us the most money. Worth noting, the Truffle Mark III has surpassed 2 million units. The Jaws Mark II has made more than 1 million. Magnet Mark III, more than 1 million. Actually, yeah, just more than 1 million. That really got ruined by whatever happened, whatever I did in that car's design to make it no longer sellable. What was it? I don't know that it's actually going to show me. Something about it. Something about it. If you see anything in here that looks like it would be part of why, let me know. I would like to know. But I think that will do it for today. Excited for the future of the Bionic, and I think our company should be coming to the end of its Lite campaign here soon, but it's going to go out on a pretty high note, I'm hoping. Hopefully we can turn things around a little bit for some of our big sellers here towards the end of the campaign. But thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you next time.